Yeah, there we go. Okay. This is
Think you can keep up with
I
me?
don't remember what rank you were. Gold? Gold Diva? What? I don't remember.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Mercy on call. Escort the payload. Hello.
Alright. So first things first. This is classic tank problems, to be honest. But just because you can take damage without dying doesn't mean you should. Unless your plan is to farm the nano, right? If you're trying to farm nano or something, which would make a lot more sense if you had a monkey, then what you're doing is like helping this Mei get a really fast blizzard. So generally speaking, like it was good that you used DM to neutralize some poke, right? So you walked out, you saw the Mei, you used some DM, neutralize the poke. Oops, that's not you. Like you DM, right? And then you let go your DM, and you're still not behind cover, right? If you want to hide and push cart, you can do that from behind the cart, right? They literally can't see you, right? If they start shooting you from above or something, you DM them while your team shoots them back, right? If you want to just hide, wait for someone else to push the cart, you can hide, right? But don't do it halfway, right? Like this doesn't do anything, and all it does is give them more ult charge, right?
Hello.
But she's gone 20% from shooting only you. She's built up a fifth of her ult in 10 seconds from shooting you, right? This is good. Chase him out. Probably don't want to have to commit boosters there because he has to leave earlier, and then you can chase him with boosters, apply a bit more pressure, but not as big a deal.
Defense matrix activated. Get through this.
Spending a little bit too much time on cart. Like your Rissa's got it, right? Rissa, cart is like her baby, right? She spends all her time on cart anyways. So you really want to get off cart and apply pressure elsewhere, right? So here, there's a lot of space on the map where you can just get relatively close to them, right? So you can actually do meaningful damage, right? And this is also where a lot of flanks like to happen, right? They're not going to flank across this part of the map without you seeing it, right? Like the hog is not going to walk over here and then come in behind your backline and kill a teammate, right? It's just not going to happen, right? Especially if you already know where he is. What you can do is you can walk over here and find a hook through like these cracks and kill someone, right? But if you're standing right here, right, that's just not going to happen because he walks through, you blast him, and then he turns away and heals, right? And if you run to the ball, you shoot the ball, right? And the ball doesn't get to come here, right, and stop the cart without taking a lot of damage, right? And at that point, you can chase the ball because he's committing to a move that will use his cooldowns, right? And then on top of that, then he needs to get out after that. And that time, you can be chasing him and burning him the whole time, right? So you just need to find other things to do besides sitting on cart. Because you're only doing damage right now when this guy comes to contest the cart, which is what he wants to do anyways, right? Then you're also not denying the hook, right? Which is like your generally speaking, that's usually your responsibility. Like the off tank's responsibility is denying hook, right? So like, a Sigma would shield the hook, a Zarya would bubble the hook, a Diva DMs the hook, and like a Roadhog just hooks back, right? But conceptually, like off tank's job is usually the one managing the other off tank, right? And Roadhog in particular. So don't get too distracted. This guy's just spinning for days. Ah, you woke up. Careful hook. Alright. Hook. You see how fast this guy built Blizzard? It was literally under a minute. And 20% of that, again, 20% of that came from the very beginning of the round because you like DM'd it and then didn't move after that, right? But yeah. Looks like don't fly away. I don't know if I missed something. That's a big. Okay, you should be 100% be flying at this. I know it's a Mei, and Mei is scary, but she just used both of her cooldowns in front of you, right? She used the wall and she used the ice block, and she got purpled at the end of the ice block, right? So that means she can't get healed, she can't purge / self heal, and she can't block you off with the wall. So this is like the time to go, right? The boost enter and like finish off the kill, right? When you need to be aggressive. Never mind. She had wall, but the point is she was purple and she had no ice block, right? And you can fly at her and just unload on her, right? There's a very high chance of getting a kill there. Okay. You're just spending too much time not getting close to people. I don't know if like what the solution to that is, because it's not really a mentality thing. It's just a recognition of like when you can get close to. What some people used to say was to play like Monkey. If you played a bit more Monkey, like Monkey is even worse at deep end poke, so Monkey forces you to commit to actions, right? But they are quite different heroes, so I'm not really sure how that advice holds up. Um, but like for example, as Monkey, you would stand here and you would look at them and you would do literally nothing, right? Just by definition, Monkey cannot do anything in that range, right? So Diva, even though it feels like you're doing something at this range, you're not actually doing anything, right? Because your damage is so minuscule. Um, so it's important to get maneuver close to people when you can, which is why this part of the map is so useful because like everybody hugs this wall, right, and this wall, and like over here, and this gets you closer to them while still using cover, right? And likewise, you can go along this side of the map to get close to them while using cover, right? Or at least walk like on this side of the payload, right? If you don't intend to go this way, right? If you don't intend to go towards the right, it's really important that you don't walk around the right side of the payload. Walking around the right side of the payload is to get to this part of the map without while using the payload as cover, right? But if you want to walk this way, right, at this ball, for example, you want to walk on the left side of the payload, which is closer, right? See how that works? Um, I don't know. You're not here, but uh, generally speaking, like everything you do is an effort to get closer to the guys you want to kill, right? If that makes any sense. So, like in this case, because you were on the wrong side of the payload and you didn't adapt to like what was going on, right? Because you're on the wrong side of the payload. Again, this is the far side, right? And you're trying to shoot them, which is not very meaningful, right? Um, in order to shoot this guy, you have to boost at him. Do you see how that works? Because you didn't just walk around the corner, right? Just walk up and unload, or like see him sleeping here, and just walk left and then unload, right? And now you're right on top of him and covered, right? And you took no damage on the way in. And if you choose not to go for this guy, like at least like go this way, you know. But you are going for him, so that you want to take the path that brings you closest to him.
Time to raise my
For stall for a year. Don't be afraid to use your boosters as Kanto as mementos. You can actually kill him in certain situations. Bomb for counter Nanoblade is a little risky, but yeah, kind of low percentage. Especially when he's already on your speed. Don't chase him, no! Alright. It's another really important thing is Diva that doesn't really get you punished early on, but will get you punished later. Is that people will stagger you sometimes. And so it's kind of important that you're not the last person alive on your team. Without a mech. Like that's what so saving mech becomes a big priority. So in this case, your team's already down 2. And like this Genji is getting pocketed by supports, right? You saw it a second ago when you were trying to kill him, right? I keep doing it. So here he is, right? You're shooting him. He's getting healed, and instead of not boosting at him, right, or boosting at him, and then turning around, right, and not finishing with melee, canceling with melee, right? You like full commit on this, and now you are guaranteed out of mech, right? There's no way you don't lose mech here. Do you see this? And so if your team loses this fight, there's a good chance you get staggered, or just died in general and fed them like 750. Right? This is a lot of ball charge as well, right? Whereas if you just like turn around, came back, regrouped with team, you get a ball kill and you don't die, right? Because if you get hooked, you just fly away at that point. Or like if you do get hooked, like you don't have boosters, that kind of sucks. But you still have Matrix after that to like buy you 2 seconds at least, right? And you get like your team gets like a free ball kill out of it because this guy's doing the same thing you are, where he's like going too deep and dying, right? But now like you are guaranteed out of it. There's actually no way, right? You don't get staggered, that's good. But like you see, this ball dies, but you died, right? And it was gonna, and like you might say like I made quote unquote made space, right? But did you really, right? Like this Genji was backing out, the supports are all the way back here, and then like they're healing the Genji, and if he just backed up 2 steps instead of going in after the Genji, right? Or faked going in after the Genji, then flew back, right? You'd be regrouped with your team, just be sitting behind this cart, being super. There would be no risk to you. Oh, that's right. Again, like this damage is meaningless, right? It doesn't do anything, right? And meanwhile, these guys are both getting their ultimates. So like again, I want to emphasize, you do this, what you do, the reason why Owl Divas do this stuff like this is they peek with DM to get information, right? They peek for a second or two to see if there's anyone maybe going this way and hiding over here, right? And then they walk back and stop peeking. That's really important. That's a really important part too, right? Because taking a lot of damage is not very good. But I mean, it's kind of a given, right? Like it doesn't really mean they like don't take damage, right? But like these are the kind of situations where you take meaningless damage, right? Like there are times as Diva when you supposed to take damage because kind of can't play tank without it, right? But this is the kind of situations where you didn't have to take the damage, but you took it anyways. Again, this Genji's built 10% ult. Taking damage is not good. Citation needed. Yeah, but like this Mei is built Blizzard. This Genji built 10% ult. This Zen's gotten I don't know how much, but like they're all getting it off of you really, and this kind of ended. But McCree actually has a reason to shoot at that range, right? Oh my god, the mate's bad. Save. Lucky. You see how comfortable you are playing far away from people, right? Like you're so comfortable being here, and but at the same time, like it doesn't do anything, right? You can cancel your boosters because your hog died, but like this hog is both low on ammo, is low on health, relatively speaking, and he has no hook, right? So continue your fly, just unload on, put as much damage as pressure into him as you can, while taking advantage of the fact that his cooldowns are down, right? Etc. Or boost in this direction, like push these guys because the hog can't help them, right? He doesn't have hook, so he doesn't do anything at longer ranges, right? Um, but like you're just very comfortable like canceling. Oh my god, canceling boosters, right? And just tagging this Ana for like 1 damage a hit from this range, right? It just doesn't do anything, you know. You don't stop. You're not able to stop this guy from booping. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to. But like, if you shoot him, right? At least you're getting something for it, right? For losing your res. You talk from max range. You shoot this guy just because he went towards you, not the other way around, right? You didn't go to him. He came towards you, which is good, right? Like you always take that when you can as D.Va, but like, you still need to move towards them. You fly into DM. The DM range has been very short for a while now. It's kind of sad. I really wish they'd make it the DM range longer again. If you look at this DM, right? This is as far as it goes. So if you want to DM this hook, you need to fly forward at least a little bit in order to DM, right? And you can either like cancel the hook, not the hook, your fly, or you can just like turn around and go right back to like on top, above the cart to find the ball and shoot him, or you can like commit on the hog. Those are all reasonable options, but you need to make sure that this guy doesn't die in the hook duration. Blade. Alright, it's time to back out. You can't get staggered. Don't get your Mercy killed. Please stop. Run. You don't need to do this. Help your Mercy. Oh gosh. This is how you lose a map, right? I'm not saying this is technically your fault, because the Mercy also could have just left, right? But like, you see how like your team's been down this entire time, yet you're still here, right? Your team's been dead this entire time. You have like everybody's in spawn, right? And you and Mercy are just hanging out, right? And they're not going to go for you because, I don't know, D.Va sucks to go after, right? But they're going to have to go your Mercy, right? And your Mercy definitely should not have hung around with you, right? But at the same time, do you see how you allowed the situation to happen by being in a place where the Mercy can hang around with you, right? If you just backed out, Mercy would be safe, right? But instead, this Mercy dies. Have you done me yet? No, I have not. You want to be next? But yeah. Because you're hanging around here, this Mercy gets left like just that turns her brain off, stays with you, and dies, right? That just was not necessary, right? I don't really have an order anymore, because like, uh, I kind of threw the whole plan out the window when I realized everyone wanted a recorded VOD. Okay, you're just so comfortable shooting this at this range. It just doesn't do anything, right? And then you lose mech. So in summary for this attack, right, you need to play angles that get you closer to the enemy team, right? So this side, walk up, nobody can really fight you in this space, kill them, or force them back, right? And then you repeat it on this side, right? And then you repeat it for the high ground, and then you repeat it for this spot, and then you just do that until they run, like you sort of like kind of corral them away from the power positions of the map until eventually they just kind of fold and die, right? And sometimes your team will die first, that's unlucky, and then you just need to repeat the whole process over again. But you just have this you're just too okay with watching things as they've happened and just shooting whatever's in front of you, even if that thing is very far away from you. So you need to get way more comfortable with just like learning like the important spots of the map, right? This spot is really important because this is the Roadhog flank, right? And also where the ball has been setting up every single time, right? And then this spot's really important because like it's very covered and you can play longer angles down main where like supports tend to play out in the open because they're kind of dumb on this map. They'll just play here, and if you're playing like a Widow here or something, Widow can see that, right? So the Widow will do this oftentimes, and like so you clear this next step, and then you also need to clear the high ground, right? That's also your job a lot of the time, right? This is also probably a more common Widow spy anyways. Um, that's your primary job, right? You clear the left flank, clear the right flank, and then you clear the high ground. Not necessarily in that order, right? But that's what you need to be thinking about, and not just shooting whatever's in front of you, right? It's really important that you think like that, right? Um, what else? And once you do that, you'll automatically stop feeding that melee because you'll be doing other things, right? She can't shoot you like on main just sitting by the cart if you're over here like not being like not shootable, right? um, you will probably get punished by this a bit while you're first trying this. You'll take fights that you can't take. Like there'll be like three people up here. You'll try and push them. You'll overcommand and then die, right? But like that's learning opportunities, right? Whereas if you just don't do anything, you don't know the situations you're missing out on. You feel? Um, so hopefully that makes sense. I guess I'll watch some defense. I predicted to be tough.
Bad guys.
Wait. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll see. Alright, cool.
Attackers ready. Five,
Alright.
four,
So my
three,
guess
two,
is you're gonna
one.
probably sit
Attackers
either high
incoming.
ground or main for most of the game. You're gonna shoot at them from long range,
Stop the
and then
payload.
someone's gonna die, they roll you over, and then they cap. Right? See how accurate that is. Might be wrong. But based on what I saw from the attack, that's probably what's gonna
Get through
take
this.
damage, you're gonna drop. You're playing the long angle, notice you're playing here, not here, right?
Routing
Bastion.
power forward shield.
Bastion is okay. Bastion is even more punishing for this because Bastion, like, if you don't, if you aren't very decisive when you actually decide to fight the Bastion, he just burns all your resources. Like, choose through all your DM, choose through all your HP, all your healing. Not a lot you can do about it at that point, right? After that point.
Activated.
Yeah, do you see you're playing here without cover, or here, which is closer and also has cover, right? Because you're not playing this, when the Bastion comes around the corner, he's gonna burn all of your DM or your fly or 300 HP minimum, right? And he might get all three, right? And that's really, really bad because you can't fight without HP or DM or boosters, right? So there's your boosters, there's your DM, and there's your 300 HP, right? Yeah, right. It's not, it doesn't take a genius to see this that this is gonna happen. You just need to be aware that like of how like rapidly this stuff adds up if you don't consistently play cover and just consistently try to get close to the area you want to fight.
Get through this.
Right. Sebastian hooks him, that's good, right? But you have no boosters, and you had no DM, and you had no HP. Again, I don't want to, I don't want to overemphasize that, but like it's hard to fight people when you don't have that stuff, right? Like I'm sure you've fought 1v1s, like you boost at a soldier or something, and he just wins the fight because you didn't go in with enough HP or enough DM. But if you have all of your HP and all your DM, it's very, very hard for him to win that fight, right? He has to outplay you so hard. I assume we just here. Yeah. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Let me know your thoughts, etc., etc. And hopefully things go better, and that you can like implement this advice. Let me know how it goes. Feel free to send another code whenever you feel like it. I'll here.